Northeast Tonight, brought to you by Oil India Limited, conquering newer horizons. Northeast Tonight, brought to you by Oil India Limited, conquering newer horizons.
Hello and welcome to Notice Tonight, the show that decodes the region. Today is the 42nd day of the nationwide lockdown, viewers. The number of COVID positive cases is racing towards the 50,000 mark, and we are yet to reach a situation where the curve is flattened. Having said that, it is also true that India has done remarkably well in its battle against the pandemic, but we cannot let our guard down. As we embark on lockdown 3.0, it is time to assess how we have fared in this medical and societal battle as a nation. We are faced with several challenges. With the relaxations in the lockdown coming, can we say our medical challenge has come only now? How do we revive our economy without compromising on health security? How to build permanent health infrastructure? How to generate livelihood options for our youth? And then, what should be our new normal behavior in day-to-day life as a society? To discuss the subject, I am joined from Pune by Mr. Mayur Bora, writer and analyst. Also joining me is Dr. Madhumita Priyadarshini Das, Professor of Medicine at Guwahati Medical College. In Imphal, I have Dr. Amar Yumnam, Professor at Manipur University. From Shillong, I am joined by Dr. Prasenjit Biswas, Professor at Nehu. And in the studios, I also have with me Mr. Shyam Kanu Mohanto, a leading social entrepreneur and commentator. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Notice Tonight. Let me go to you straight, Mayur Bora in Pune. 42nd day of the lockdown. Overall, how is India poised in its battle against COVID-19? Are you a happy man or are you reasonably happy?
No, Wasbir, to be very honest about that, I think I have to be, or every Indian has to be reasonably happy, because the statistics that has been there for the whole world to see you make you happy. India is one of the few countries who has done 1 million tests, and out of that 1 million tests, the other two example, if I take of the Western European nation of Germany and the other nation is United States of America, India has got an average of infection rate of 4%, whereas USA has got 16.4 and Germany has got 7.4. But that, of course, is not a matter of complacency, but statistically speaking, India is not doing badly, as we see in the third phase of the lockdown. But lockdown has also unlocked some of the contradiction, some of the paradoxes, and some of the tussle that has been really plaguing different minds in the country and also in the world about the tussle between life and livelihood. We are trying to save life initially, as whole world is really, the whole humanity is poised against this particular tiny organism, an organism which cannot be outlawed, cannot be intimidated until and unless a vaccine comes forward. I think our united effort should be irrespective of caste, creed, color, cuisine, or religion. We have to fight against this medically, and with increased awareness at new normal that you were suggesting at the beginning of the program, that new normal has to be imbibed by people of the world, and with increased awareness, with increased infrastructural inputs coming from the medical fraternity, I think we have got a better chance to cohabit and coexist, not defeat. At this stage, I think we
cohabit,
can only
coexist,
we can only derail the COVID
Absolutely,
virus.
Mayur.
Coexist and cohabit.
A lot of food for thought right at the beginning of the show. Mayur Bora, very important points. Let me come to you, Dr. Madhumita P. Das, Professor of Medicine at the Guwahati Medical College. Madhumita, a lot of people are now saying that what happened had India not enforced or not had lockdown for the last 42 days. Now, point is, do you think lockdown has helped India battle COVID better than other countries?
Yes, Mr. Wasbir, I just could not agree more, because it is the lockdown that has given us two major things. One, we have flattened the curve. The curve, which was exponentially otherwise would have risen, has gone down. The doubling time, which was initially about 3.5 days, is now beyond 11 days. We have definitely flattened the curve. And the second most important thing that we have got out of the lockdown is we got the time to build up our infrastructure. We have many more ICU beds than we had. We have many more ventilators. We have trained all the people, starting from the ward boy, the cleaner, to the doctor, how to face the situation. So we are now better equipped. People have been sensitized. People know how to handle the situation. So I feel had this lockdown not been there, we wouldn't have had this time to buy, to build up what we have and to flatten the curve.
Absolutely. Lockdown has given us the much needed time to boost our infrastructure and be in a better position to deal with the pandemic. Before coming to you, Shamkanu Mohanto in the studio, Professor Amar Yumnam in Imphal. Professor Amar Yumnam, you know, has our medical challenge begun only now? That, you know, from yesterday, that is the 4th of May, you know, a lot of relaxations have, you know, come about. The government has given a lot of relaxations. So what is your personal assessment? Do you think our medical challenge in reality has come only now, with a lot of students and other workers coming back to the Northeast?
Well, our real challenges lie ahead. But while assessing the present situation, we must realize the fact that we should not go for, okay, this is one common picture of India. We need to understand the differential and contextual pictures of India. For example, Kerala has been efficient in stopping the spread of the disease. Well, simultaneously, Mumbai has not been efficient in controlling the spread of the disease. So we cannot think of a common assessment being applied to Bombay and Kerala. Simultaneously, we should not think of applying the same common picture to, for example, Manipur. Manipur had 2 imported cases. Why is it that 2 imported cases in Manipur failed to spread and could not spread, whereas 2 imported cases in Haryana caused havoc in Haryana? So we need to appreciate
you are saying that it has to
realities of India.
Yeah, state-to-state approach. State-to-state approach, there cannot be one single approach. That is what Professor Amar Yumnam is saying.
No, by no means.
Okay, I'll come back to you. Now, Shamkanu Mohanto, 42 days of lockdown. We are fighting the battle medically. That is one thing that we are doing. Also, considering, you know, the country that we are, considering the number of people below the poverty line, considering a huge middle class, considering a huge set of migrant workers, as we know, how long can the government give relief in cash or kind to the needy? Have we erred? Have we made some mistake in our strategy in dealing with COVID? Medically, we are doing okay. You know, I'm talking about the other strategies.
I think the strategy has been fine so far. What Madam has said, it has given us time. First thing I must want to clear to the people, we are not that successful yet. If the curve has not gone down. Today also, right now, the AIMS director has said that this is the biggest concern. Why it has not gone down. Today, most of the countries across the world, the curve has started going down. We are not being able to do it so far for many reasons, but because a lot of under-reporting, lack of testing, many issues. We are still under a lot of issues, and with the result, next 10-15 days are critical. How the lockdown extension are, you know, really relieving some of the conditions.
Yeah.
I believe the timing has been perfect, although a lot of economists across the world has said that after second lockdown, after the first lockdown, we should have started, you know, an exit route, which we perhaps did not do it. But I feel India has to look at the serious paucity of health infrastructure. That perhaps the main reason. But if you ask me, the bigger challenge is hunger. For me, there is one particular perspective. In terms of deaths, 1,800 death is not a huge death. But economically, 30 crore direct under BPL, and entire economy is dependent. We are not a fundamentally very strong economy. There are a lot of daily wage earners, and as an industry as a whole is really suffering. If something is not done in next 1 month, see, who is suffering? The small entrepreneurs, medium sector, who recruits 60 crore population. Small and medium sector virtually controls entire Indian economy in terms of employment. So they are really bleeding. They need a great package of support. US is supporting around 10% of GDP. US is contributing. India has only released so far around 0.7% of GDP as a support mechanism for the industry as well as entire economy. I strongly suggest in the same line most of the economists are talking about. We must have around 2 to 3% of GDP contributing towards reviving the small and medium sector in terms of at least if we can reimburse their interest for a period of time.
So my
this
question...
money circulation, Parasbir,
Right.
let me finish. The economy has to revive through money circulation. Money circulation will only happen if we start contributing and supporting this economy. They will in return help us to revive the economy.
Absolutely. My question was, how long can the government give relief in cash or kind to the needy? So what you were saying, Shyamkanta Mohanto, is that government should help the small and medium sector to rise, to stand up once again on their own feet.
At least 2.5% of GDP must be contributed towards
that
economy.
has to be some kind of a infusion, cash infusion has to be done, some kind of a bailout package, and you were saying that at least 2 to 2.5% of the economy GDP has to be pumped into that. Now, Prasenjit Biswas, Dr. Prasenjit Biswas, day 42, where do we stand? What are some of your suggestions?
First thing, that the lockdown has flattened the poor completely, and we have seen building hunger. Food is not reaching to the remotest part of the country, and various parts of the country, especially rural population, are also certainly under a certain kind of self-imposed isolation and blockage. And this is contributing to non-reaching of essential goods to these people. Now, this is a major challenge at the bottom level. If we cannot provide food to the people, the lockdown, the whole purpose of lockdown is going to create a larger impact in terms of hunger and famine. In fact, World Health Organization and United Nations Food Organizations have jointly said that famines are building up across the world, and after this lockdown is over, more number of people is going to go hungry. Already in the hunger index, India's place has gone down. So this is a major challenge. Therefore, hungry people have to be provided food, and this is the responsibility of the state government and central government. Unless we are able to do this, we are actually damaging immunity of the people. As the virus is going to stay with us for a longer time, whether curve is flattened or curve is steepened, that doesn't matter, but virus is going to stay with us for a longer time, and we should know how to live with this virus.
Absolutely.
And for that, the gyre of economy should move. We should start sales. Sales is not happening. The volume of sales has gone down. How sales can be increased in agricultural market, in the market of machinery, manufactured goods, all these have to be ensured. Sales have to be ensured. Once we can do that,
so
then
more or
the
less
whole
you are saying
economy
that
will
money
start
has to be
moving.
in circulation. That is what Shyamkanta Mohanto had also said. There has to be business.
More than that.
Business activity has to resume.
As well as the
I'm saying
people.
sales has to begin systematically.
Okay.
Sales has not begun at all.
Okay, let's hope that sales begin. Mayur Bora, do you think the bigger challenge now is hunger? As we await a vaccine, I'll come to Dr. Madhumita P. Das on this. As we wait for a vaccine, Mayur cannot hear me. Can you hear me now, Mayur Bora? Okay, Mayur Bora cannot hear me. Dr. Madhumita P. Das, from the medical point of view, what are we doing with the lockdown? We are delaying the virus from stepping. We are trying to gain time, as you said. This is giving us the critical amount of time that we need to build up our infrastructure. But at the end, do you agree that we have to wait for the vaccine for life to resume or life to come back to normal?
Yes, before I address that question, I just want to add one point with which I think all of us have been missing out, is there are a lot of people who are mourning over the death of loved ones. Especially not maybe in our part of the country. In our state, we haven't had so many deaths. But where there have been a lot of deaths, in those places in the world or in those states of India, we have to remember that. There are many people who are mourning, so they will need some extra support. Many people have exhausted all their funds and resources, maybe retirement resources, whatever they had. So we have to keep all that in mind instead of only the business sector. The elderly people have also lost a lot of things. So that insecurity has brought in a lot of mental health problems. So that has to be kept in mind. Now, your question was about the wait for the vaccine. That's what you were saying.
Yeah, wait for the vaccine for things to come back to normal.
Yes.
Is that the only option before us, really?
Yes, that is the final option, I would say, when a vaccine really comes, and the vaccine has to come over time. It has to be time tested, and it's only then we can say that we have got out of the disease. We are not sure whether we're going to have such a very good vaccine in the near future. It may take more than a year. In the meantime, we should have a definitive treatment against the virus. If we can have a definitive antiviral, like we had for malaria, we had quinine at one point on time. So if we have a definitive treatment, that would also help in recovery, and down the line, it's of course
Okay, vaccine and a definitive treatment. But Mayur Bora, the question that some of our panelists like Shyamkanu Mohanto and Dr. Prasenjit Biswas, I'm coming to you, Professor Amar Yumnam, on this. Now, Mayur Bora, bigger challenge in the country, Northeast included, do you think it is hunger?
It is very difficult to say actually whether disease and the death looming large over the horizon or the hunger. It is very difficult. Actually, yesterday there is a wonderful article I read in Times of India yesterday. They are talking about a dichotomy between India and Bharat. India is deeply scared, like people like generally you, me, the middle class people, we can take little bit of precaution. We are aware and we are like staying home. But Bharat, the migrant laborers, about Shyamkanu also has mentioned, all those people see the whole thing in the last 2 months, how they have come on the streets, virtually left in the lars. Although government has come of late, they are also, the train journey has been supported by many parties and government also. But it is very difficult to say at this stage whether hunger is more important or that disease is more important. But one thing has to be very, very sure, we cannot afford to stay home for all times to come. That's why I said initially also we must learn how to coexist with this particular disease till the time the vaccine is found out. And till that time, I think irrespective of our differences, there are many times in a democratic country, people try to find fault with government and all. But now this is the time we should really stand in solidarity with all human beings, all Homo sapiens of the world, and more so in the country now, so that we can fight this disease and fight the other problems that disease has brought to the country, the economic problem, the problem of livelihood. All those issues we can be able to tackle squarely and roundly, provided we stand united. Wasbir, please remember, united we stand and divided we fall. Nothing, and at no
Actually,
point of time
the need to fight the battle unitedly, that is the main core theme. Yes, Professor Amar Yumnam, you are trying to say something. Yes, whether hunger is the bigger challenge or fighting the disease.
Well, fighting the disease, we have got absolutely competent doctors in our service. The point is this, our understanding of the problem has to undergo an absolutely behavioral change. Well, for example, restoring, say, Maruti Suzuki factory to normalcy is not the same as bringing normalcy to the economy of the Northeast. We must understand that, number one. Number two, we should not confine ourselves to only the quantitative understanding of the impact of COVID-19. For example, well, we say, okay, so much loss, so many unemployed, things like that. But beyond that, for example, well, Manipur has been having experience of so many students moving out of the state at the end of either class 10 or class 12. The behavioral change today now is that, well, when the class 10 and class 12 results are announced, the parents will be very, very hesitant to send their children outside the state to the rest of India for their either post-10 or post-12 education. Well, how is Manipur and how is Northeast prepared to absorb that kind of a sudden change in scenario when the demand for quality education absolutely arises? That also is an impact.
Right.
Is an impact.
Right.
We need to go much beyond the purely academic impact of it.
Yes.
we need to go to the social aspects of it as well.
Right,
So
right.
already the behavioral
Shamkanu
changes
Mohanto,
are happening.
Professor Amar Imnam was saying that, reviving, once again, resuming activity at the Maruti Suzuki factory or reviving the Maruti Suzuki factory after a certain lockdown, and reviving the economy in the Northeast are two different things. So how do you respond to this? How do we revive the economy in the Northeastern region at the same time continue with our battle with very, very basic medical and health infrastructure, because that has been a huge challenge, because lockdown is more important in a region like the Northeast. In Arunachal Pradesh, health infrastructure is virtually zero. Look at the case in Mizoram, there is hardly any, not even a medical college. There's only one college which has just sprung up. So lockdown is more important. Delaying the disease, delaying the virus spread is more important in the Northeast than in many other parts of the world.
First thing I want to answer one thing. Cannot be a competition between Jan and Jahan. So we have to, the health is paramount importance for any of us. So far, we all support what has been done so far. And I think we have to go off strategically. Right now, we cannot, I agree with Mayur, we cannot live in lockdown for a long time for a country like India. So first thing is that the graded exit process is a very right way to go ahead, first thing. For that, I just want to focus on one thing. We must learn to live with COVID. How to learn with COVID is social distancing, cleaning your hand, whatever process we have been discussing for a long period of time. Coexistence COVID is must, because as Madam has said, the vaccine may be one and a half year ahead. You never know, it might be beyond. So till the time vaccine comes or next 1 or 2 years, this may be good for us also. If you look at it, Northeast can be retained as a less COVID area. After 1 year, we'll get benefit. I see a big impact on tourism. Especially, I've been working with the domestic tourism circuit, and there are a lot of calls I have received across the country. They are very much interested. The Northeast is relatively safe. There's a very strong news spreading around India, because the Hyderabad, Bangalore, the maximum Indian domestic tourist goes to Europe and US. For next 2-3 years, they are not going there. Northeast can be a potential. I see a potential in Northeast in tourism sector after 1 year down the line, number one. Yeah. Number two, if we talk about Northeast, what is our strength? We should focus our strength. Our focus is focus is agriculture. So Northeast in Assam has twice the production, double his production in the last 2-3 years. So I strongly believe post-COVID, Assam and Northeast can be an entire production hub for the entire country. Agriculture, if we focus on agriculture, Northeast,
okay.
COVID, post-COVID, the strength area of Northeast in terms of tourism.
So capitalize on the strength areas of Northeast, which is agriculture and tourism. Now, Prasenjit Biswas, have we succeeded in doing this? Because have we succeeded in doing this? We need a strategy. Assam has only now set up a high-level committee to go into how to revive the economy in Assam. But that has not happened in the entire Northeast. I'm coming to you, Amar Yumnam and Mayur Bora. You see, there is no synergy among the 8 states in the Northeastern region. Assam has always been taking the lead as far as medical infrastructure is concerned prior to as the COVID started emerging in India. So, and Assam again has set up a high-level committee to revive, how to revive the economy. But there has been no such synergy among the Northeastern states.
Yes. So to revive the economy, as Shamkanu Mohanto had rightly said, we have to depend on the areas of strength and our comparative advantage. Everyone knows what are those areas. But more importantly, 2 things: market linkages between agricultural production and marketization of the commodity, which is a very weak link in the context of whole of Northeast India. Then the question of expansion of the credit, demand for credit, which is another weak link in the development of the whole region. And this has gone accentuated or gone for a toss with the lockdown and with the total strangulation of the entire economic processes that were minimally existing. Therefore, we have to probably start from a sub-zero level, or maybe a break-even point. And that break-even point has reached in the context of Northeastern economy, as you have rightly pointed out. Only Assam has some revival plan, others are really lacking it, and we are quickly dwindling towards a break-even point. Now, the break-even point in various economic sectors have to be identified by experts, and proper amount of monetary boosting has to be done, which will require credit expansion, a lot of banking activity, and a lot of connectivity between rural-urban sectors, between one urban pocket and another, between interstate, between one state and another, market linkages, road transport linkages, and massive amount of transport of goods and
So these are
services
some
have
of
to
the
be
things that
carried
will
out in terms of taking raw material from one place to another,
Okay.
which
Now,
COVID has actually dampened.
when
it has to be
when we
revived
are on
completely.
when we come up with a revival strategy, all these things will come. But Mayur Bora, before going for a break, Mayur Bora, Shyam Kanu has been emphasizing that we have to coexist. We have, and Professor Amar also said the same thing. We have to coexist with COVID. Now, that means we have to coexist as a people, we have to coexist as a society, and even our trade and business has to coexist. Now, is it easier said than done? How will it impact on the figures?
Absolutely, Wasbir, it is easier said than done, and it is much easier for me and as well as for Shyam Kanu to tell in a television studio. But we have to tell that. Why you have to tell? The writing on the wall is very, very clear. If you do not want to do, see, hypothetically, if you want to open up, and the country has already opened up, you have seen some of the zones like orange and the green zones have opened. There is a possibility because of this opening, statistically some of the cases will rise, and there is a possibility also some people will lose lives. But at the same time, all the time, if you cannot afford to lock down the whole country, then almost all the people, or 50% of the people, will die of hunger. There can be food riot. You know what has happened in Venezuela only a few years back. So everything is possible on this piece of geography also, provided we do not take care of the livelihood concern of the millions of people that have been virtually left on the streets. So that's why there is no broad spectrum antibiotic for that. The government has to really try, and that's why I have been emphasizing the opposition party, the all other organizations, all journalists, the civil society groups, thinkers, writers, everyone must stand in solidarity with the government in their effort to deal with this dual crisis. There is a crisis threatening our life, and also there is a crisis threatening our livelihood. We have to understand that in totality, then only we will be able to do something for life as well as for livelihood, Wasbir. My position is very clear on that.
Absolutely. We'll go for a short break, but we'll come back and expand the various aspects of living with COVID. As they say, you have to coexist with COVID. Don't go away. I'll be right back. Welcome back. Now that it is almost clear that the vaccine is going to take 6 months to 1 year or even more, we have to live with COVID. We have to coexist with COVID, as many of our panelists have said, and I think that is the reality. Now, my question to you, Dr. Madhumita P. Das, is that, our testing has been only based on symptoms. If you have a symptom, you are tested. Now, somebody is coming from outside, you are quarantined. If you develop a symptom, you are tested. Now, my question is, one theory is that, if you have to do rapid testing once and for all, find out who are the people having COVID, or who are the people who are, absolutely COVID negative. Then you go about with life, go about your business as usual. That is one school of thought. Do you think that is the way out? Do you think India can afford to do that?
First of all, I wouldn't agree to the point that you do a rapid test and you say someone's positive or negative and you go ahead. No, it's not that. Because the positive test, be it whatever, we have two antibodies that come. One is called IgM and one is IgG. One comes after 7 days of infection, one comes later. IgG will mark that you have had an infection in the past. IgM will mark that you are having an active infection at the present moment. So you have to do it at the right time, in the right place, in the right context. If you miss someone, if I'm tested negative today, that means it's not that I have not had COVID. I may be harboring it. So it's not a it's not a litmus test for COVID. So first of all, that message has to be loud and clear. Yes, the rapid test, if available, if done judiciously, is going to be a huge boost in finding out how many people have been affected in the community. That is something, people are brewing and many people are scared. Have I already had it, or have I developed immunity out of it? So if we can find out that a lot of people have already got the long-term antibody, which is the IgG, it'll help. If 70%, more than 60% people have it, it's herd immunity. That means this society is immune to COVID. So that is, of course, the one value of the rapid test. Another is any person coming to your OPD, the doctor is maybe a little worried. Do I go ahead with this patient in this
even
way
if he
or
has come
that
for
way?
something else,
Yeah, even
some
if
other ailment.
So there is a value of the rapid test, but mind it is positive only after the 7th day of infection. First 7 days, even if it is COVID, it's going to be negative.
Okay, first 7 days, even if it is COVID, is not going to show, it is going to be negative, and after 7 days or more, that person who has been cleared in their rapid test might still test positive for COVID. So, COVID rapid test is not the final word, viewers, so therefore it has got its plus and minus points. But Shyamkanta Mohanto, can we wait indefinitely for the vaccine, especially in a region like the Northeast? I'm coming to you, Amar, with the same question. Northeast is already an industrially underdeveloped region. We already have any case, we have very limited livelihood options. We have very few industries.
Sure.
So what should the region do? Some people are saying that, we should fight this battle together. We should also try to revive the economy together. Is there a case for that?
First thing, I just want to take, it's a case where entire Northeast should, that's why I want to use your platform to I want to request our government on this aspect. There's two aspects I want to say. First thing, our Northeastern people should learn to live with COVID. We must have Arogya app. Wherever you want to go for air ticket, we want to do anything, you will need the Arogya app. First thing, I would request all of you must download Arogya app in this post-COVID world. What I want to request our chief ministers, because right now what we need some support. I'm an entrepreneur. First, I will try to talk on behalf of my fellow entrepreneurs.
Yeah.
This is a common demand. For our tourism industry, look at a driver, an entrepreneur who has started a tour operating business. He has one car, he has 15,000 of EMI. If you have 5-6 cars, he is paying around 3-4 lakhs of EMIs. First thing, I want to, our entire government of Northeast should lobby with India's finance minister that package for the small and medium sector should include an incentive, at least reimburse the interest component of our entrepreneurs, small and medium sector, both tourism as well as food processing kind of entrepreneurs. Number one. Number two, state government can support in small ways the electricity fees. Electricity fees costs should be reimbursed by the states. Number three, if some working capital support for the entrepreneur. So first thing, a regional perspective is needed to demand and lobby with government of India to get some incentives, especially for the Northeast India, that is needed right now. And number two, we must talk about a competitive core advantage of entire Northeast. Tourism, as I say, agree, we say, we must work together. Maybe COVID can be an opportunity for us. Maybe COVID was an opportunity. Everybody started realizing that we must get into agriculture. We must start getting into work. In Assam, I have seen a lot of people in Upper Assam is calling me that we want to get into farming. Yeah. I am seeing a very COVID might be positive to ourselves, yes, provided we can utilize it positively and work in a regional context.
Okay. Now, there is a strong case, as Shyamkanu is arguing for a strong case for a regional approach to deal with the COVID economy, the post-COVID or COVID economy, if I am using the word within quotes. Now, Professor Amar Yumnam, and all the 8 states in the Northeast today are either BJP ruled or ruled by the BJP and its allies. So, there is no problem. Why are the chief ministers not sitting together? You don't have to even come and meet today. You can have a video conferencing, you can plan your strategy, but that is simply not happening. And we cannot say that the chief ministers are so busy with COVID that they have no time, because we have only about 50 cases. Till yesterday or till 72 hours ago, we had only 25 cases. But now with Tripura, that entire BSF, we may have not more than 50 cases in a population of 45 million. So our chief ministers have sufficient time. Why are they not talking?
Well, before I answer that question, let me say that we are having a kind of a scenario. It's a wonderful life experiment which we are not going to get in the near future. And we hope we never get it again. Well, having said that, what we are going to face, see, learning to live with COVID, it is after lifting the lockdown. Once we lift the lockdown, what happens is that Right now, the individual behavior is fully converged with the community behavior. But once the lockdown is lifted, well, all the individual behavior will be oriented towards individual interests.
Yeah.
That is where the governance comes in. What exactly should be the character and the approach of our governance? Well, so far, looking at the scenario in Manipur and Northeast, well, there is much to be done here. Well, coming to coordination across the different states of the region, let me say that, well, we have, okay, it's my own university. Well, Manipur University, for example. Well, all the medical colleges of Manipur University also, in Manipur are also affiliated to Manipur University. Why not we have got biotechnology department, chemistry department, biochemistry department, and the medical colleges come together and, okay, why is it that the two imported cases could not cause further damage to Manipur? By this time, we must know something about it. But there's not even an effort towards realizing.
So no
okay,
coordination, no lack of coordination is the key.
It's not a question of coordination. There is not even a commitment for coordination.
Okay.
Coordination will come if you have a commitment for coordination.
So I think,
but
this is strange.
Commitment for coordination.
This is strange. I'll come to you, Prasenjit Biswas, but Mayur Bora, and being a BJP-ruled region, ruled by the BJP and its allies, it should have been extremely easy to work at a government-to-government level. Government could have taken the lead in coming up with a regional strategy, not only to battle COVID, but to also revive the economy. Now, as everyone is agreeing that we cannot have a lockdown forever, or for that matter, we have to make the economy stand on their own feet.
Yeah. See, Wasbir, what I heard from you, actually I was not knowing because I am outside, but what I heard from you, it reminds me of the famous statement of George Bernard Shaw. GB Shaw once very famously said that Great Britain and USA are two countries separated by the common language. Here, if they are all belonging to the same political ideology, I don't know what prevents them from sitting together, do a teleconference. There are all kinds of gadgets available where all the students are being taught nowadays, where the chief ministers can definitely talk. And for the overall benefit of the team Northeast, I think they should have played. Initially also I told Wasbir that we have to really fight as a team humanity, team India and team Northeast. If the same thing is not forthcoming in Northeast among all the 7 or 8 states, it is extremely ironical, it is extremely unfortunate. I think from civil society side and from senior journalists like you also, you must try to give it an appeal to all the government, keeping in mind your personal relationship, because this is one thing which is going to hamper, which is going to create difficulties for everyone.
All right.
Wasbir has written a Facebook page on this. I remember Wasbir has written that suppose Assam is doing well in terms of really managing this. In EDA convener, Mr. Himanta Biswa Sharma, who is actually working with entire Northeast. Why cannot the entire Northeast handle the COVID case together? There is Wasbir does, if you remember, that was very timely. Timely mentioning the Northeast can work together to fight against COVID. And most importantly, I would urge Pema Khanduji, I would urge Conrad Sangmaji, and Mr. Biren Singh, all of them can come together and demand with Government of India. These are the support we need.
Let me tell very, very openly and publicly, because you see, this is for the betterment of the northeastern region. We have very few of our top political leaders who are on television talking directly to the people and the viewers. We have Mr. Himanta Biswa Sharma in the forefront talking every day to the people. We have Mr. Conrad Sangma talking every day to the people. We have Mr. Sarbananda Sonowal talking quite frequently. Apart from these three leaders, and occasionally, very occasionally, Mr. Biren Singh, but apart from that, all our chief ministers are not to be seen on television talking to either the viewers or their people. They may be doing something on their own. They might say that we do not need publicity, but it's not a question of publicity. It's a question of everybody learning from each other's work. Now, the Assam model, how Dr. Himanta Biswa Sharma has been dealing with the issue has been replicated by many. Mr. Prasenjit Biswas, is there really a case for coordination among the Northeast, or do you think that, that is, because the other argument is that it is no point talking about the Northeast because every state is a different strategy, every state is different. So which one do you bat for?
Yeah. Actually, there must be an initiative between the state government and the central government. The central government must come forward by promising a certain kind of a package that needs to be worked out in details. For example, strategy for Mizoram's agriculture cannot be same as the strategy for Tripura's agriculture. The water management part of
But
Assam
Prasenjit,
and the water
let me
management
interrupt
part
you.
of Arunachal Pradesh may be same.
Let me interrupt you, Prasenjit.
No,
You
I'm,
see,
just-
my
just,
point is,
okay,
my
sure,
point is,
sure,
why should we depend on the center all the time? Why can't we? This is a national crisis.
No,
This
that's
is a
what I'm
national.
saying. That's what I'm saying.
This is a national emergency. Why can't the states have their own plan?
Yeah. Obviously, the states should have been empowered more, but because of a national approach in which one size fits all kind of an approach is adopted in tackling COVID, therefore states are not given much elbow room to have their own creative exercise. In this context, there should be more coordination between center and the state. Center must come with a special northeastern package. I must tell it publicly, because with that the economy's wheel can be revived in the northeast, especially in the rural, informal and agricultural sector. But the strategy for northeast is very different in very different regions within the northeast. Therefore, it requires a major strategic alliance,
Why?
a broad-based
Then the
discussion, a broad spectrum approach. But a lot of funding.
No, then
a lot of
Mayur
funding is needed. which
and
is not
Shamkana Mohanta, I am coming to the medical part in a bit, Dr. Madhumita P. Das. Then Mayur Bora, if we are expecting the center to come up with a northeastern package when there are 50 cases in a population of 45 million, Maharashtra will say we have 12,000 cases and there should be a special package. Gujarat will say we have 6,000 cases, come up with a special package. So the center is, in any case, trying to do whatever best he can. So what do you have to say?
No. At this point of time, on many other occasions in the past, Wasbir, you will recall, we have been criticizing many of the activities of the central government. But at this stage, I do not think a package, only because of absence of a package from the central government, we have not been able to do it. I think it is more in our mindset, more in our outlook. See, I agree with Professor Biswas. If I heard limited only, I could not hear fully, that there cannot be a single robust template for tackling this twin crisis on one go in all the states. But if we have learned something, if Assam under Dr. Himanta Biswa Sharma has learned something, if Kerala has learned something, then what is the harm in sharing that learning? What is the harm in sharing those experiences? As I have been telling, this is not the time to really nitpick, really find fault with our ideologies and many other things. We have to fight as a single human race, as an Indian, as a Northeasterners. And because of that, I don't mind center giving money to Ye, because in a country which is strongly Unitarian bias in the constitution,
yes,
as you know, our federalism is biased in favor of the center. But at the same time, present time is not the time to cry over a package.
Got it. Let Shamkanu respond. Let Shamkanu respond.
I talk about a regional perspective, what Wasbir started. That is one part. One is that entire Northeast should be together to tackle COVID issues, because within Northeast there will be a lot of movement of people. Then initially, people are not coming from outside. We would be dependent on each other. First thing, a common strategy for tackling COVID within the Northeastern state. That is first thing. Second part is that all Northeastern chief ministers are coming together and demanding something. I'm not asking COVID support. COVID support is already enough. I think every state government has been given enough support by Government of India, and we are right now within Northeast are enough in terms of ICU bed, in terms of PPE kits, when right shape. The issue is about how to address our economic issues, because Northeast is dependent. Tourism is not about Assam. Tourism, anybody coming to Assam also goes to Meghalaya and Manipur. One common strategy for tourism, one common strategy for economic activities, agriculture, together we should sit down and talk. And then what do we need from Government of India? Right now, Government of India is contemplating a package for the entire country.
Yes.
If we do not lobby well, we'll be given pain. We are not going to get anything, because our situation is slightly different. We have to take care of our people, and we need a common package. And if Chief Minister Assam, Meghalaya, Manipur comes together and give a common representation, that will carry more weight than one state coming. So I believe in a common approach of a regional perspective, and I want to use this beautiful platform of yours to send this message across to the political leadership that let's think on this line.
Before coming to Dr. Madhumita P. Das, let me also say I have taken the name of three leaders, Dr. Himanta Biswa Sharma, Mr. Sarbananda Sonowal, and Mr. Conrad Sangma. But I should also add that Mr. Joram Thanga, as and when he is approached by the media, I must put it on record that he is more than willing to come and talk about the COVID situation in his own state, even if it is having not much of a problem. He is ready to talk and also talk about his strategy to revive the economy in Mizoram as and when the situation turns to normal. But Dr. Madhumita, as a medical professional, can you give confidence to the people of Assam today that we have enough PPE kits, don't have to worry, stick to the do's and don'ts, and you can go ahead with your normal activity as per the government's guidelines? Can you give that confidence? Can you tell that to the people confidently?
I can for sure at this moment, with the present scenario, the number of cases that we have. First of all, please be reassured that we have a very good leadership in our health minister who has brought in enough PPE kits. He has enough ventilators, enough ICU beds. Don't be worried. We are prepared infrastructure-wise to face the situation. But there is just a small thing I want to tell you to be on guard, that if I can, that is, there was a Spanish flu in 1918 which lasted for 2 years, and it came in 3 spikes. The second was the highest with the highest mortality because people got fed up of social distancing and washing hands. So now that the lockdown has been removed, I mean, to quite an extent, don't always keep expecting things from the government all the time. Get used to getting your own face mask. Get used to your own face mask. Bring your own hand sanitizers. Keep your social distancing. Keep your norms to what has already been taught to you in the last over 40 days. Yeah. I'm sure with this and the economy taken care of, don't worry, we'll come out of this.
Don't worry, but don't be happy and forget about it. Don't worry, don't be happy. It's not like that. Don't worry, but don't also be complacent. Don't lessen or reduce your guard. Professor Amar Yumnam, we were talking about the strategy. Now we are on the 42nd day of the lockdown. Today is the 42nd day of the lockdown. Now, how are you assessing the days ahead? How will the behavior of the people and as a society, do you think the new normal will be quite different from what we were used to?
Well, when it comes to the behavior of the people, well, we should be really thankful to God that the behavior of the people while responding to COVID-19 in the Northeast has been absolutely robust.
Yeah.
It has been very, very robust. The earlier inter-ethnic tensions have now been converted into absolutely secular ethnicity feelings. Well, you have talked about coordination and cooperation among the northeastern state governments. Here, we must realize that we already know by now where are our strengths and where are our weaknesses. Well, I would like to share with you an information about CSIR laboratory in Imphal. Well, the principal scientist in the CSIR laboratory in Imphal happens to be a very active scientist. What he has done is that he has released the mass production of hand sanitizers, which is absolutely heartburn based. Of course, alcohol is used. Alcohol also, bringing ethanol from Guwahati will be very costly. What he has done is that he has done processing, 2-stage processing of Manipur's country liquor, and that is being used instead of ethanol and heartburn based aloe vera, Manipur's turmeric, and our lemongrass.
This is what is called innovation.
Herbs, he has been using it. So the question is, how do we encourage such activities? That is where the government should come in. The government by now must identify the areas where we are strong and where we are weak, and accordingly we act. And the Northeast also is not question of Manipur and Assam just coordinating. The question is, Assam should supplement Manipur's weakness, and Manipur should complement Assam's weakness, things like that, so that at the end of the day, the entire Northeast is strong.
Okay, I'm running short of time, but 2 important points which Professor Amar Yumnam make. This is where the state government can intervene. The CSIR lab using the local products, local products and making hand sanitizers on a mass scale. These are the success stories. These are the innovations which needs the governmental support. Last words from you. Final comment, Mr. Prasenjit Biswas. Then I'll come to you, Mayur Bora. Prasenjit Biswas, very quickly.
You tell Farhana or somebody to call me.
Okay. Okay, Prasenjit Biswas's line is not there. Final comments from you, Mayur Bora.
Yeah, see, Wasbir, what Dr. Madhumita Das was telling, I totally agree with her that we should not be concerned only about the rights of the individual. We should also talk about the duties and responsibilities of citizens like us, like buying our own hand sanitizer and all those stuff are very, very important. And the most important thing, the road ahead, as you are telling, will not only be different, it will also be difficult, and at times it will look very, very depressing and disheartening. But so has to go on, Wasbir, but so has to go on not casually or recklessly, so has to go on judiciously. I think that's what we have learned, that's what humanity has to learn if we want to tackle this twin problem of COVID and the economic downturn that it has brought in.
Yeah. Okay, the show must go on. That is the at the end of the day message. Prasenjit Biswas, your final comments.
Yeah. There is a lot of moral policing and lot of restrictions put on ordinary mortals. People should feel free and responsible simultaneously, and there should not be much of harassment that is carried out in various places in various ways. Government should put really a kind of a concern so that such things are not done on the ordinary level and on ordinary people.
Okay, Shamkanu Mohanto, the road ahead, days ahead, do you see a new societal behavior by the people? What are the responsibilities as a society?
I'm hopeful. I think that COVID has taught us many things. Post-COVID, we will learn, and Northeast will gain, because I am confident we can keep Northeast COVID-free. Number one, that will help to entire our perception will improve Northeast as a location, because I'm focusing on Northeast in terms of COVID preparation. We must learn to live with this by maintaining social standard, social distance, hygiene standard, and everything. Most importantly, we must become economically stronger. Northeast people as a whole come together, become economically stronger, and our government must take care of us in terms of providing support in terms of in this hour of crisis. We need some support in terms of giving some grant on some interest waiver. Please give us. We'll come back strong and make Northeast a very vibrant economy in coming days. I'm quite confident about it.
Absolutely. We need this positivity in this hour of distress. Dr. Madhumita, final comments from you. What do you think?
I have a feeling that we have two major perceptions after all this lockdown and the pandemic. This is a beautiful crossroad between a health crisis and an economic whatever we have gone down on the economy. Two major things. One, life is very simple. It's not as complicated as we always thought. We can live a very simple life with very minimum things and yet have a good life. And second, we have to remember that investment in health infrastructure is very important as we think of all other aspects of the economy.
Absolutely. A very complicated virus has taught us how simple life can be, provided we are ready to keep it simple. Absolutely. And on that note, I end this edition of Northeast Tonight. But basically what we have learned is that what we understand is that we have to coexist with COVID perhaps for a little longer time than we perhaps think, until a vaccine comes and we use the vaccine as a preventive measure against this deadly COVID. But until then, life has to go on. The show must go on. I thank all my panelists for participating in this very engaging discussion, and the viewers for watching the program. Good night and goodbye.
Northeast Tonight, brought to you by Oil India Limited, conquering newer horizons.